James had a saying when we first met, and it was,
kind, considerate, thoughtful, fun-loving, cheerful, and devoted.
And devoted and all of those other attributes is what describes Michelle. She displays that with her family, to her friends, to her community, and everybody she meets. And we just want her to know that we love her very much and are so proud to have her as our daughter-in-law.
Michelle, I have a little message for you from Aunt Kelly. She wants to thank God for putting her in her life and all the blessings that she has received because of you. Not only is she my niece, she is one of my closest friends. Aunt Kelly says, love always, your other mother. Michelle, I have a message for you from your dad. Your mom told me about your upcoming award, and that's great news. You've always been selfless, putting others first, even as a child. You have a natural way of positively influencing everyone around you. Your cheerful, optimistic attitude has always impressed me. It is no surprise to me that you are being recognized with this Distinguished Service Award from your church. Your mother and I are very proud of you. Congratulations. I love you, Dad. On October 9, 1974, after 29.5 hours of agonizing labor, a beautiful little girl that I named Michelle Lynn was born. She was the second of 3 wonderful gifts that God has blessed me with. What you see today in Michelle is not very different than what I've seen as she has grown from that little girl into the godly woman she is today. There were never any problems with Michelle as a child. She always did well in school, listened to her father and I, got along with her siblings as well as she did her friends. As time does, her childhood raced by far too fast. Before I knew, it was graduating high school and in the workforce, and what we know was her spiritual gift of working with children. I always knew from watching her with her cousins and other little children that she had that special something that only few people have that allows her to have the patience and loving kindness that takes in working with children. If you've ever seen her interact with children, if she has ever watched one of your children or taught them in Sunday school, VBS, you know exactly what I'm talking about. She treats them as if they are the only child in the world and that when they leave her care, they know they are loved. I always knew that she was a sincere and kind person who loves everyone and is willing to help in any way. But when she became a Christian, that gift that she was given from God would now be used for its intended purpose. Not only does she care for people, she now sees their souls as something she needs to win for Christ. If it were not for her putting my name in the prayer box of unsaved loved ones, I would not be where I am today with the Lord. It is not only her family that she prays for and seeks to help get saved, it is everyone in her life. Nothing is more important to her than a relationship with God, but a close second would be her desire to see all her friends and family come to know the Lord. As her mother, I could not have asked for a better life for her than what she has found with God. She's a godly wife to Chris, a godly mother to JT and Chase, a godly daughter to me and her father, and a godly friend to so many people. I know that she never expects one's attention or words for doing these things because she simply sees them as doing what God has asked her to do. Michelle, I am very proud of you to have you as my daughter, but also as someone I look up to, especially for the way you are raising JT and Chase. You have started your family by putting God first, and your children may not fully understand what it means. But as they grow older, to start a family of theirs, they will have you to thank for teaching and raising them to put Christ first. I love you and thank God for you.
Okay, so they say that the spiritual head of the family is supposed to be the husband. Well, that's really hard to do whenever you're living with Michelle. From the very first time we were married, she said, you know, okay, we're a family now. We're going to start going to church. And I owe everything to her. You know, once she makes up her mind to do stuff, there ain't no stopping her. So you might as well just get on board and get it over with. All of my friends, whenever they ask for prayer requests or whenever they have a need, I always tell them, I'll have Michelle pray for you because, you know, he listens to her. because she has to deal with me and the boys. So, you know, I'll have her pray, and that gives them some comfort. You know, they know that Michelle is a good and godly woman, and so do we. We all do. This is an awesome award, and you are every bit deserving of this award. One of my favorite verses that I found, and I always think of Michelle, is Proverbs 31:29, and it says, "Many women do noble things, but she surpasses them all." You surpass them all. I love you.
I love you, Mom.
Thank you for taking us to church, and thank you for reading us stories over the years and giving me this adorable little brother. Thank you, Mom, for drawing us to the Lord.
I first met Michelle when she came to the church and applied to be our nursery worker. And right after that, I found out that the church board made a good decision, because we found out that Michelle was a professional child care person. And so she came to work in our nursery and was a real blessing to the church during that time. I pastored Michelle and Chris for several years, and during that time I had the privilege of performing their marriage. And I've also had the privilege of watching them grow spiritually in their love for the church and for God, and for one another and for other people. And so it's been a real blessing to know them, and I can't think of anyone any better to be awarded this Distinguished Service Award than Michelle.
And the way we were connected was we had several young couples, and Michelle and Chris were one of those couples. And we started a group at our home called Dinks that was double income, no kids. And they became friends from that. And even today, Stephanie and Steve said to send their greetings and congratulations for this award, which they love her very much.
I've pretty much known Michelle for all my life. I don't really remember meeting her for the first time, but as I got older, she was actually my children's group leader for a while, and me and her got really close. We've always been really close, and she's always been there for me on my best days, laughing with her, and on my worst days, she's always been there for me. And I just couldn't see anybody else getting this award who would be better for it.
I'd like to congratulate Michelle Lupton on this award. She is so deserving of this, holding so many positions in the church, the behind-the-scenes kind of person that is the core to any church, in any life in Christ. 2 Corinthians, Paul talks about the aroma of Christ that all Christians, the fragrance that they give out. Michelle definitely has that aroma of Christ that Paul talks about in 2 Corinthians. The love that she has for our Jesus, the love that she has for her church. She prays diligently for people in need, for people in her life, her children, other people and other people's children. And she is so the definition of what the Distinguished Service Award is all about. Reaching people for Christ and being that, that fragrance of life that Christians have in their world. And we love her and we appreciate her and all that she's done for the families in our church and for building of the kingdom for the glory of God.
Michelle, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the community for your fine work in working with the little kids in the Cub Scout pack, and for supporting Chris and all his activities with the troop. We'd like to thank you for all your time.
I was introduced to Michelle in February 2005. My daughter Kaylee had just turned one years old, and I was in need of a babysitter,
so I could continue working as a special education teacher. Kaylee began staying with Michelle in March 2005 and stayed with her until she entered kindergarten in August 2009. Since then, my family has been blessed with 2 more children. Robbie is currently 4 and Ava Grace is 17 months old. Currently, my younger 2 children stay with Michelle full-time so I can work as an assistant principal. Michelle has truly been a blessing for my family. Not only do I go to work each day knowing my children are safe, but Michelle provides a loving Christian environment. Throughout the day, Michelle prays with the children, reads Bible stories, teaches Bible verses, and says the blessing at mealtimes. In addition to being a powerful Christian example to my children, Michelle has provided me emotional support when needed. During multiple instances of surgeries and relative illnesses, she always provides a listening ear and keeps my family on the prayer list.